Hi, my name is Mervic Flores de Melo and my partner,
Joaquin David Guadalupe.
and we are students of the Associate in Arts program, Faculty of Education from University of the Philippines, Open University. We are here to present our research about the waltz and its evolution from scandalous to being an iconic dance. To start off, the waltz is known as the oldest ballroom dance, but it wasn't immediately accepted in the society. Its roots can be traced back all the way from the 13th century when it was still a folk dance without a name and was only known for its movement, which was the continuous turning, and we will discuss more about its history later on. Now, the waltz became known only when it got popularized in Vienna, Austria. But the confusion regarding its origin was because the steps were influenced by a folk dance in Germany. The waltz is known as a dance of the royalties and aristocrats because it is an elegant ballroom dance. It was a dance that was well loved even by Queen Victoria. That is why it became very popular. It is also a dance we see in many iconic movies and it is part of wedding traditions and many social gatherings. There are many forms of waltz, but the most popular and commonly used today are the slow waltz and the Viennese waltz. And I'm going to play a short video of what a traditional Viennese waltz look like. Here are the objectives of our research. Number one, we want to identify the history and origin of how waltz came to be, and to clarify the confusion about its origin, where and how it actually started. Another objective is to determine why waltz was considered scandalous in the past. Why was the society reluctant in accepting this dance? What made it so controversial that there was so much repulsion from the society back then? And finally, this research is to assess what made people fall in love with waltz and how it became recognized as one of the most popular ballroom dances in the world. Why is it a popular ballroom dance choice and what is its relevance in our current dance culture?
For the methodology of our research, we used data mining. This is due to the current situation of the pandemic. Review of related studies. This includes reliable, credible, and reputable sources such as various websites, journal articles, and books. Moving on to our discussion is the history of waltz. The history of waltz goes way back around the 13th century. It got influence from a folk dance which is called Dreher, meaning turning in English, and its origin from Westphalia, Germany. It was only around the 16th century when the Dreher reached Vienna and it became into a court dance they called the Weller, which later evolved into what we know now as the waltz. It was an unaccepted dance during its early years based on moral grounds of conservatism. Way back on those days, dance was used to be seen with little to no contact. This view of dance made it easy to see that the waltz isn't very accepted by religious sects and conservative people because the waltz involves close proximity contact of dancers with each other. Additionally, some people in the 4th century had anti-dance sentiments, which deems dance as a form of unacceptable behavior. They even deem it as far as to be a violation of sexual taboos. Great composers such as Johann Strauss and Franz Lahner completely revamped the image of waltz through their musical compositions. In addition to their efforts, waltz became its own musical genre. Royalties embraced the dance and it became spread popularity in the Western world. Royalties such as Queen Victoria loved the dance, and because of its presence in England, it made a positive impact of its influence to the West. Next up is the discussion of the scandalous period of the waltz. The waltz was seen as an obscene display by a British news outlet called The Times. It even went as far as to relate it to prostitutes. This image of waltz made the British majority turn its back to the dance. The waltz is also considered as an indecent dance. This indecency of the dance led to parents and other leaders to discourage the youth from learning it. The London Times even issued a warning letter stating that the waltz is a fatal contagion of a dance. Back in the previous slide, I mentioned that the waltz was unaccepted during its early years. This is because the dance itself was viewed as vulgar by religious and conservative people. The intertwining of arms and the close proximity of the face was enough for the people of the past to view it as vulgar. The promiscuous nature of waltz, growing in society back in the past, was battled by a romantic poet called Lord Byron. He wrote and claimed that his poem has strong arguments against the promiscuous nature of the waltz. In the past, dance masters view the waltz as something that can jeopardize their profession because of its easy dance steps. They see court dances as rigid, with complicated moves and certain actions that will catch the eye of the audience.
Now I am going to talk about the transition of the waltz from being scandalous to being popular. There are many reasons how and why the waltz became a popular dance. But the first reason is because of the steps. The waltz is a dance not only known for being graceful, but also because of its uncomplicated steps. The common step for waltz is called the basic box. The basic box is the basic step of the waltz, and it is done exactly the way it sounds. Imagine you have a box drawn in front of you. Now, simply step on the corners of that box, and there you have it. The first half of the box, uh, the footwork goes forward, side together, and then the second half, backward, side together. It's as easy as that. The waltz is quite easy to learn that anyone, even those without a dance background, can learn the steps. Even a reputable dance center with over 100 years of experience in teaching, founded by a successful ballroom dance instructor and entrepreneur Arthur Murray, recommended that the waltz is the best ballroom dance to start for beginner dancers because it is timeless and really easy to learn. Next, due to its easy step and sophisticated movements, due to the twirling and gliding on the dance floor, the royalties and aristocrats fell in love with the dance. It was said that Queen Victoria loved the dance so much that it was the Queen's choice of dance for her wedding with Prince Albert. And she danced it every chance she got. This was also why it quickly spread in the Western world and became popular. Now, the waltz as a musical genre. The 3/4 timed waltz quickly gained popularity all over Europe due to the compositions of these great composers, Johann Strauss, Franz Schubert, Frédéric Chopin, and Tchaikovsky. Johann Strauss, I'm sorry, it's Johann Strauss, created over 400 waltz composition. But his best work, The Blue Danube, is the waltz that is used in many formal gatherings. And here's a clip of that song. Now, listening to this classic takes one back to romantic era and just waltz away. Now, finally, the improvisational methods of the waltz led to many variations of the dance. The waltz became popular, that other countries have adopted the dance and made a few variations to make it their own. And here are some of its forms: the Spanish waltz, international standard waltz, the slow waltz, or sorry, international standard waltz or the slow waltz, American waltz, Mexican waltz, Scandinavian waltz, Cajun waltz, valse musette, cross-step waltz, and Viennese waltz. But out of all these, the two most famous waltz are the slow waltz and the Viennese waltz. At the end of the research, we were able to arrive at the conclusion that the waltz was a scandalous dance due to the nature of how it was danced. People at the time were conservative, so to witness a kind of dance where the dancers were almost at a hugging state were deemed immoral. We were also enlightened that the waltz was popularized in Vienna, Austria. It was because of the steps called Dreher that came from Germany that the origin became debatable. But like any other forms or styles of dance, there will always be influence from other countries. But new styles of dance will always stem from its past influences. Because of the long history of the waltz, it is proven that it is one of the oldest ballroom dances known to men. It is a timeless dance that has become part of our culture. We see it in a lot of royal movies, even in our favorite Disney classics like Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast. It has become a much awaited production in many formal gatherings. From our weddings, the first dance as Mr. and Mrs., 18th birthday, 18 candles and roses, and JS prom cotillion dance. Borrowing the words of an American educator, Dr. Lloyd Pappy Shaw, waltz is all a continuous whirl of pleasure for those who can take it. The sophistication and elegance of the waltz elevate any formal events to a whole new level. It has become ingrained in our culture. It has earned its title and well deserved recognition. And there is no doubt that the waltz is here to stay for many more generations to come. This is Mervic de Mello once again, and my
and
partner.
Joaquin Guadalupe.
Thank you so much for watching.